guys, just wanting to give you all a little update. Try and do a video every day, but it kind of gets a little nonchalant and that sort of deal. But yesterday, not gonna lie, we were a bit worried about the babies because last night we had like flash floods for here in Allegheny. It lasted until like in the early hours of the morning. But we came over, gave everybody grain. Everybody's doing great. The babies are happy-go-lucky, jumping around everywhere. Just dropped their hay, so they're all the adults are content. The babies are playing. Um, but today we wanted to go over our feed regimen and kind of what we have implemented for our herd. Something that we found has worked. We do want the goats to gain most of their mass from like the hay and the grass that they get. Of course, the hay that we get is a kind of mediocre at best, but the feed supplement that we give them helps immensely with that. And since Jacob is actually more of the science expert on that, I'm going to let him take over and kind of give you all the rundown, like percentages, pounds, and stuff like that. Come here, honey. Hello.
Hey. So, like Brittany said, our hay that we have is the hay that we grow here. It's kind of mediocre. I mean, it's good hay. It doesn't have everything that I think that our goats need. We do live in a somewhat selenium and copper deficient area, so it's really important that all the goats get plenty of selenium and plenty of copper. So one of the ways we combat that is we give them the feed that we buy from the store, and it is goat feed. It's really important that even if you're creating your own and just adding stuff to it, you get the actual goat feed. You don't have to buy the Purina brand. We don't. We actually go to a feed store in Jefferson, and they've got a great goat feed there. And I want to say it's right around $12 a bag. So there's no reason to buy the $25 bag unless you have the show goats. Hey, Carmelo. Unless you have the show goats and you're trying to do those. Anyway, so when we mix our feed, we do 150 pounds of the actual goat feed. And that really gives it a really good base. After that, I add 50 pounds of corn. And one of the real reasons for adding corn is they need the energy and they need the fat. Goats gain muscle from fat. You don't want to have them get too much fat, but about a third of it is what we end up putting in there with corn. And so they love it. It's like candy to them anyway. And so after that, one of the things we do is we add the free range minerals, and that really helps out with any of the selenium deficiencies, any of the copper deficiencies. Now get goat mineral. Don't get the free range mineral for all the animals. Don't get the free range mineral that is okay for sheep, because that's not going to have the copper. You need to get the actual goat mineral. And if the feed store that you're going to doesn't have it, find one that does. Again, the one that we go to in Jefferson, it always has all the goat mineral that we need. After that, because the hay it's a mediocre hay, and I know that it's not alfalfa, it doesn't have that good 24% protein in it, we do add extra protein to it. We buy the soy meal, and that soy meal, I add about 20 pounds of the soy meal, which ends up being almost half of a bag of the soy meal to the actual feed mix that we do. And then when we mix all that up, the actual grain itself is a 17% protein, so it bumps it up there a pretty good bit. And I know that it's sitting right around 22% protein after all of that. So when you got that, you really give all the goats all the minerals, all the fat, all the energy, and all the protein that they're really going to need. On top of that, what we do is we have a protein tub that we leave out. Now, you're going to hear that the cow protein tubs, they're not going to do a whole lot for the goats. And in all actuality, they really don't. What it does have is it has a 24% protein, and we leave it out here, and the goats just kind of just bite on that all day, and they kind of eat that whenever. And again, it just kind of adds to the protein that they're not getting from the actual hay. If you have a really good quality hay, you can probably cut back on some of this stuff. But if you're not buying, a few bales of alfalfa every week and giving your goats alfalfa every day, then you're really going to want to start looking into adding that free range protein, or the free range minerals, adding that protein and adding that extra energy to their diet. that copper helps fight off any bugs that are out here, any worms or any of that stuff. It's just really important for them their coats may look really nice when they're getting the right amount of copper. They're a lot friendlier. They'll get up and they'll jump around a lot more. Copper is really, really important to goats.
Yeah, and I just want to add, even though like a lot of our girls are dairy or dairy crosses, because the bucks that we choose are meat, such as Tanzger, he's Kiko, and then our previous buck was boar, that gets passed down to the kids. And so the mother's intake on all this protein stuff gets passed down to them. And since the kids are predominantly meat type, that really helps bulk them up as well. And that's what we look for when we're taking them off to market, or even just for people who want that good meat goat for their celebration or whatever the case may be. And also, this is research that we've done from several different sources, such as Oklahoma State University. We watch a lot of their videos, along with some other forums, watching other goat farmers. And don't ever be afraid to ask questions. If you are ever doubting of what you're feeding your goats, be confident in asking, even simple little questions like, what is it I should actually be feeding them? Because even though a lot of folks end up just putting their goats out to grass and they say that they're okay, really, they need a lot more than just the grass, especially if you're looking for those good quality kids.
And that copper, I was saying that it really helps out their coats. And when you come to like winter time, if you're in a cold area like we are, their coats cannot be more important. If they don't have enough copper, they're going to have thin coats. They're not going to be warm. And you look at loss of goats just to freezing weather. All of our goats, I mean, it'll be down to 0 degrees and they're still out there walking around because their coats are nice and heavy. They do get that right amount of copper, and their coats are nice and full, and it's not spotty. If you ever see a goat that has a spotty coat, you really need to pay attention. Take a look at what they're eating. Are they getting enough minerals? Are they getting enough of the feed when you put it out? Or are they being pushed to the side? If they're being pushed to the side, bring them to a separate area. Make sure that they're getting all the right minerals. Make sure that they're getting all the right feed. Make sure they're getting enough energy. Their body's got to be able to produce it. The goats, man, they have metabolisms that are crazy high. So you might be thinking that they're getting too much corn, they're getting too much fat. Their body will burn right through it.
Yeah, that's why we set out several tubs, because we see how they fight and they tussle with each other. And as time goes on, we'll be adding more troughs to the system, so that way everybody is getting what they need out of their feed, because it's really important for them, super important, especially the nursing and the pregnant does. They need it more than anybody else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll catch you guys later. Feel free to ask us any questions in the comments, and we'll answer them right away. Take care, you guys.
He's a sleeper. He's a little tiny sleeper.
Crystal, the mighty goat tamer.